out there from the Badger Rock Urban Farm. Here we are for our next in our summer virtual workshop series. We're really excited to have y'all out here to do some more foraging. Today we're going to learn about some edible weeds that Mother Nature grows for us. Once you start to recognize these plants, you will see them everywhere. You could just walk around your neighborhood and pick your dinner, y'all. So we're going to pick some weeds that you can eat, and we are also going to take them into the kitchen and make them into a pesto, which is a delicious kind of a green food with usually with nuts, usually with some cheese, super delicious, some olive oil, little sunflower seeds is actually what we use instead of nuts, but we'll show you all that when we get into the kitchen. But for now, come on a walk with me through the farm. And you know, one benefit of being not on top of your weeding is you got lots of edible wild plants to find. So the first one that I see right here, this one is called oxalis. You can see it's got a little yellow flower with 5 petals, and it's got leaves that have 3, like a clover, but they're kind of bent in half. They look like they have a crease in the middle. So I said this in the last workshop, but I'll say this again. Never harvest and eat something unless you're 100% sure that it is what you think it is. So the first, lots of times foraging, I would recommend going out with somebody that you know who really knows their plants. And after a while, you'll get to know them, sort of like living in a neighborhood. You get to know the names of your neighbors after a while, but it takes a minute. Same with the plants. So make sure you really know what you're picking. Also make sure you're not picking something endangered, and make sure you're not picking all of something that you find. I mentioned last time too, United Plant Savers is a great resource for seeing what plants are endangered that you should not pick, that you might want to cultivate on your own, plant in your own garden if you want to use them. So yeah, just a few little guidelines like that to know when you're foraging. But oxalis is also called sour grass. It's really sour. It's got a delicious sour taste, so you could use it in place of lemon. Lots of times in pesto you use lemon. You could use this instead. You don't want to eat a ton of oxalis, but I mean you would have to eat a lot because of the oxalic acid in there that can keep your body from absorbing iron if you have too much of it. But it's a delicious little treat. Just make sure you are picking the right thing. So we're going to pick a little oxalis. Oh, there's just a treasure trove of edible weeds right here. We don't have to even go far. This one, if you look at the underside of the leaves, they look almost shimmery, like they have little jewels on them. And the leaves are shaped kind of like a triangle, kind of like a lamb's ear. And this is what this plant is called, is lamb's ear. This is a wild edible. It actually has more nutrients in it than spinach. Super good, delicious. If you pick it when it's young, you can just eat it fresh out of the garden or your neighborhood. Delicious. Also though, know where you're picking from. If you have a neighbor that sprays a bunch of pesticides and herbicides on their yard, don't pick from there. All right, so that is lamb's quarters. You'll see that everywhere once you get to know it. I see another one right here. This little one looks like a little cactus. It feels like a succulent. The leaves you'll feel are almost like cactusy, a cactus way about them. This plant grows low to the ground. It grows in the summertime, and it's called purslane. Purslane. And we love to make pickles out of this one, so we'll do a workshop later in the season on purslane pickles. But this is one of the only plant sources of omega-3 fatty acids. Those are those great fats that you find in fish, the super healthy ones, but this comes in a plant. So we're going to pick some of that to put in our pesto as well. It's a great one to pick. I also see right here next door some chickweed. Chickweed is a really awesome medicinal and edible plant too. I don't know if you can see it with the rain on it, but it has one little line of hairs up the side of the stem. Just a line of hairs, and its leaves, if you look, they look like they're holding hands across the stem instead of like that. That's called an opposite leaf. And it has little white flowers. Chickweed is great to eat. It's also a great medicine for your skin. It helps with itching. So mosquitoes, they just hatched around here, And we are going to be grabbing some chickweed, squishing it up, putting that on our mosquito bites to help them itch a little less. So I'm going to grab a little chickweed over here. Chickweed, you can make a pesto out of straight chickweed, to be honest. It is a really delicious, easy to find and easy to use plant. Chickweed and lamb's quarters, you all can make a pesto straight out of that. And if you do want to add, some basil, some kale, some other plants to your pesto, just to give it a little extra something, you sure can. So let's see, here's another lamb's quarter. This one is a little easier to see because it's a little bigger. So you can see that shimmery quality to the back of the leaves. Really easy to find, really easy to pick. It's everywhere, y'all. All right, we're going to walk a little further here. Oh, and I see another one right here. I see another too. So this plant right here, see how it has purple marks on the leaves that look like a thumbprint? 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 That is called lady's thumb, and that is a delicious edible. This one, it can get a little tougher when it gets mature, and so a lot of times people will cook this one to eat it, but this is another edible one that you can definitely collect to put in your pesto. So right now, what we have collected is, we have lady's thumb, we have lamb's quarters, we have chickweed, we have purslane, and that is a delicious pesto right there in a bowl that we can turn into food just from what Mother Nature grew for us. We didn't have to do anything except for not weed our garden. Oh, and oxalis, the little lemony guy, to give a little citrusy kick. Oxalis too. 5 plants. Let's take them inside and make a pesto. We'll see you in a few. Welcome back. So here we are in our kitchen with our delicious edible wild plants that we harvested. So we are just going to take those plants and we're going to cut them up and put them in a blender to make our pesto. Pesto is great because it's so versatile. You can eat it on crackers for a snack. You can put it on pizza instead of a tomato sauce. You can make pasta and put it on there, and it's so good. And it's got protein from the nuts. It's got all the good vitamins from the greens. Delicious stuff. So we're going to start with our lamb's quarters. A little reminder of what we harvested here. Lamb's quarters is the one that has the shimmery backside to the leaves, and the leaves look almost like a lamb's ear. Lamb's quarters, and you can eat the entire plant of lamb's quarters. So I'm just going to take this top off this blender if I can get this off of here. Oh, my hands are wet from the rain outside. There we go. And I'm just going to use some scissors to cut it up. You can use a knife if you'd rather cut these things up on a cutting board, but I find scissors are so easy and they make it quick. You don't have to do a perfect cutting job because these are all going to be blended up in a minute. So there is our lamb's quarters in there. We have our oxalis, our little sour grass, people call it, or people also call it sorrel. You might know it by that name. This is the one that's got a little lemony flavor to it that you don't want to eat too much because of that oxalic acid in it. Can make it hard for your body to absorb iron. So put a little bit of oxalis in there. Here's our chickweed, a little reminder of this one. Oh, you can see it a little better on this one, that one little line of hair up the stem, and the leaves look like they're holding hands across the stem, opposite instead of alternate. And the flower on chickweed is white. So make sure that you're picking the right thing when you pick the chickweed. There is a lookalike that's not edible that's called scarlet pimpernel that has like an orange flower. So make sure that the flower is white too. So I'm just going to cut that up in there too. So this pesto, once you make it a few times, you really can just eyeball it instead of measuring. But it's about 2 cups of something green or a combination of something's green. So that's what we're starting with here. And then over here we have our lady's thumb. This is the one that looks like it has a little purple thumbprint on each leaf. This is the one that's a little bit tough. So a lot of people will cook this one rather than putting it in a raw food like a pesto, but we're going to throw it in here just a little bit for the vitamins. The other really awesome thing about pesto is you don't cook it. So when you cook plants and vegetables, some of the vitamins get destroyed in that heating process. When you eat raw foods, the vitamins are all intact and ready to go for you. So it's a raw food and it's a delicious food. Purslane, this is that one that looks a little bit cactus-like succulent-y. This is the one that has the omega-3 fatty acids, those really healthy fats that you find also in fish. This one is also super delicious to just throw in a salad and eat it straight. It's yummy. It's got a little bit of a crunch to it. I love purslane. And then this one, I forgot to show you all out in the garden, but there is so much of it. This is called pigweed or wild amaranth. So if you've ever heard of amaranth seed, that wild grain that people are starting to eat more of because it's got more nutritional value than like rice or other grains, this is related to that. And so you can also collect the seeds from a wild amaranth and use them like you would the seeds of the amaranth you buy in the store. But the leaves of amaranth are also edible and really, really nutritious and delicious. To know that you're picking the right thing, the hint is at the bottom. Look how bright pink that is. So this is also called pigweed, and I'm not exactly sure why. Maybe pigs like to eat it too. Pigweed or wild amaranth, and this is your definite go-to. Does it have this pink right by the root? If it does, chances are good that you have found the right thing, the wild amaranth. So I'm just going to use the leaves of this because the stems are a little bit tougher on a wild amaranth, and the leaves are usually what you would eat. You can eat them cooked or you can eat them raw. So I'll put a little wild amaranth in here too. So it's about 2 cups of green. And then we're going to throw in some olive oil. Olive oil is also plant-based, made out of olives. And so it's actually really healing, not only for your skin, but for your body as well. It's got a lot of good nutrients in there. So I'm going to put about a 1/2 cup of olive oil in here. I would do like 1/4 to a 1/2 cup and try it out and see how it goes. See if your pesto blends well together. And if it needs a little more liquid, you could always add a little more. I like to use sunflower seeds instead of nuts because there are so many nut allergies in the world these days. So when we're cooking with kids, we always use sunflower seeds as an alternative. They're a seed, not a nut, but they're also really high in protein. They're also delicious. So I'm going to put about a 1/4 cup of sunflower seeds in there too. Oops, and throw some on the counter for good measure. That's good luck when you get a little on the counter. I'm also going to put a little Parmesan cheese. That adds a little flavor and a little more protein. And the Parmesan cheese is optional if you want an alternative that is plant-based. So if you're vegan and you don't eat dairy, you can use nutritional yeast instead of Parmesan cheese, and that'll give it a similar kind of cheesy flavor without the dairy. So I'm going to put about a 1/4 cup of Parmesan cheese. We just grated this fresh from a block that we got, but you can buy it grated or in a block. And then garlic. You don't want to overdo it with the garlic. 1 clove should be plenty because it's going to be raw, so it's really strong. And that adds a little antimicrobial kick to pesto also, actually. Garlic is a really, really strong plant medicine. It will help you with colds and flu and viruses. It just helps kick out a lot of the funky things that we can get when we are getting sick in the fall and the winter. So next step is to blend it. Come on over. Join me among all our kitchen utensils, and we're just going to blend this up. All right. And once it looks pretty well blended and nice and bright green, you are done. Pesto literally can take about 5 minutes to make. Look at that. Beautiful, green, delicious, vitamin-rich, healthy, protein-rich, delicious pesto that you can use on crackers, pizza, pasta, all from just weeds that you can walk around your neighborhood and pick that Mother Nature grew for us. So thanks y'all for tuning in. We'll pop a recipe in the comments as well. And we look forward to seeing you next time.